Welcome back to JB Reviews. As you guys know, I literally just got my truck back last week, and it's actually been a week since I've had it now, because today's Thursday. Tomorrow when you guys see this video, it'll be Friday, which will be a week. One thing I love about this house is that it can literally fit a single rear wheel and a dual rear wheel in the garage. Can't beat that. But yeah, I am actually thinking about regearing this truck. And the reason why is because this tire is a 37, and most of you guys have been asking because you don't watch my videos, but it's a 37 by 12.5. And this guy here is a 235/80/18. Hopefully it'll stand up. So that's basically 32.8 inches. So most people don't know this. Anytime you go to a taller tire, yes, it looks a lot better, but the other issue you're gonna have is you're changing the axle ratio out back, because what they normally do is they obviously will lift the truck up, turn the tire one full turn, and then they'll count the drive shaft turns too. So this truck has a standard 342 axle ratio, and right now it's probably not even in the threes anymore. Now, something to consider, and this is something I'm like still trying to get an answer on, is this. Because if you think about it, this truck has a 342, and let's pretend this is a diesel single rear wheel, although it's a gas truck. This truck would have a 342 as well. Now, most people don't know this, but this tire here, this is a 275/65. This is basically a 34-inch tall tire. And you can kind of see, it's not a huge, well, okay, yeah, it is a huge difference actually. But my point is, 34s versus 37s is only 3 inches. And so with that being said, I wonder if they actually do change the rear end ring and pinion gears for this tire. Because again, the one that comes on the dually standard is basically like a 33-inch tire. This is just an inch taller. So I guess my point is, does it make sense to re-gear? Now, some of you guys have been asking me about what gear am I in when I'm at 65, 70 miles an hour. From what I can tell, because I'm at like 1,800 RPMs in that ballpark, around 65 miles an hour, I'm pretty sure I'm either in 10th gear or 9th gear for sure. So I will do a video at some point and I'll show that to you guys. So my speedometer is off, and I'll go over that in the video too. I don't know what it is. I have to actually get something to figure out what it is, because I think I'm off by at least 5, but I think it could be even more than that personally. So let's discuss my options. I went online, and yeah, they don't have anything for 3500s. Specifically for the 12-inch ring gears. They do, however, have things for the gas trucks, which have the 11.5-inch ring gears, but there's nothing online. But here's something you have to consider. Back in the day, when you were running really tall tires, the manufacturers didn't really give you 34s, and even for dualies, these 30, almost 33-inch tires. So going from those sizes, I can't tell you what they were off the top of my head, but going from that to this was a huge jump. That's just my assumptions. However, I did read an article probably about 6 months ago when I got my GMC about some of the weak points for the Allison transmission, which is a 10L1000. The only thing about having these wider tires is because they do poke out a little bit more, you do have to watch almost everywhere you go, like pulling out the garage. This is actually my first time actually pulling in. Hopefully you guys can see. I actually have a lot of space. This is a pretty big garage, but if you haven't watched my last videos, I've raved about 28 by 28, nothing smaller than that. But as I was saying, if you are kind of looking to do something like this, this can get really expensive really fast. And what I mean by that is, if you want to re-gear your truck, you're gonna have to do something custom. And that's my only issue I'm having right now, is there's nothing online, you know, with re-gearing your truck. Hold on, let me put my seatbelt on. There's nothing that you can find. And I've called a couple places to see, hey, how much would it cost? But better yet, do you have anything available to re-gear my truck? And out of 3 of the shops I've called, 2 of them confirmed that there's nothing even for 2023 trucks. So online, I've only seen 11.5 ring gear options, but nothing for 12-inch ring gears. So either no one's been re-gearing these trucks and they've had success, or maybe a lot of people aren't running big tires on these trucks, because as I said, these trucks have 34-inch tires if you're looking at single rear wheels, and that's pretty darn good. I mean, that's why I didn't do anything to my GMC, although I didn't really plan on it because I knew I wasn't going to keep that truck long. I really like the idea of this having the stock tires, because going to a 35 was a waste of money, and then going to a 37, well, you're going to have to do, you know, a little bit more modifications, obviously leveling, things like that. So the issue with the 10R1000, let's talk about that real quickly. Sadly, the 10R140 is kind of been proven to be a better transmission than the 10R1000. Now, if you don't know what the 10R140 is, that is Ford's 10-speed transmission. It has been said that on the HD side of the house, they did not create that transmission together. So we're just gonna go with that. And there are definitely some differences in the transmission. So where the weak point is on this truck is the torque converter. So online, I think it was Motor Biscuit, that's where I read the article. They had said that the torque converter will have issues if you add more than 500 horsepower or if you run bigger tires. So having a little bit taller tire, they recommend that you go ahead and re-gear the truck. But again, as I said, there are no options that I can find right now on re-gearing. Now, let me just discuss something real quickly. The cost of re-gearing is probably going to be around $3,000. Now, most people might ask, well, could you just do the rear axle and not the front? Sadly, no, you cannot do that, because both axles need to be geared the same. So you should buy a 2-wheel drive truck if you don't want to have to re-gear both. I'm just kidding. But yeah, nevertheless, yes, you would have to re-gear your front axle and the rear axle. That does suck, because yes, it would probably be about $1,500 just to do the rear, but because you have to do the front on 4-wheel drive, it would cost you another $1,500. Now, you can disable your 2-wheel drive if you want, if you don't plan on using it, and then once you save up enough money to do the front, you could do that. But if I do it, I'm doing it all together, because I know me. I'll one day want to go off road or do something stupid and forget, and then yeah, I'll have to replace my transfer case. Now, as I was discussing, the weak point on this transmission is the torque converter, more specifically the lockup mechanism. So when you run taller tires, or if you add a tune on it and you're over 500 horsepower, you could damage this. And so where Ford's is superior is their lockup mechanism is faced towards the stator, and GM's is faced towards the flex plate. So that's where they say that Ford's transmission is just a little bit more beefed up compared to GM. So I guess right now I'm going to continue to find an option to re-gear my truck, because, you know, honestly, I don't notice a power difference. I'll tell you right now, there is no power difference with this truck. And the only negative to the tires is at 0 to about 5 miles an hour, because as I said in other videos, when the trucks are stocked with the Gen 2 L5P, it's a dead spot, and it only got worse. That's basically what happened. It only got worse now because of the, you know, larger tires, because you're turning a larger tire that's heavier. But apart from that, when you're rolling on the highway, this sucker gets up and goes just like it normally would. And I will keep you guys posted on what I do, obviously. If I do decide to re-gear the truck, I will let you guys know all the details about it. And I am thinking about maybe getting the Edge Pulsar. It's like a tuner for the truck. I don't really care for the power gains, and I'm probably not going to add anything. But with that, you can recalibrate the speedometer, and you can adjust the tire size, I believe, with that too. So I heard that you can put in there that you change the gearing or something like that, and it should like recalibrate the transmission. I don't know how true that is. I have to do some more research, but for now, my goal is to re-gear the truck. That's what I want to do. So if I find a shop that can do it, that has the parts, or can find a way to get the parts for me somehow, then I will re-gear this to a 410, and that should put me back in line with that 342 axle ratio. So yeah, that's pretty much where we are. And it is super windy out here, but I figured, like I said, I want you guys to see the truck really quickly. And yeah, I have to go over how the powder coating and all the painting goes. I got a lot of videos to do, like I said, and I've been driving this truck as much as I can because I want to see, you know, will all this get chipped up? Oh, is that a chip right there? Oh, that's a chip right there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So yeah, this is the good thing about this build, is I can kind of show you guys how all this stuff holds up. Like even like this front grille, all this was painted up here. And so yeah, how well will this stuff hold up over time? And is it worth doing? Now I will say the powder coating will probably hold up well, but these center caps are probably the weak spot for this build. But yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to stay tuned for the drive videos. I'm gonna have my wife drive, as I said in other videos, because she doesn't like rough riding trucks, and I think that she will give you a better impression versus me, who does not care as much. So I'm gonna get back home because it's so windy out here today. I'm sure you guys can hear the wind hitting my mic right now. So yeah, see you guys soon. And I almost forgot, if you do find a way to re-gear these trucks, you will lose cruise control on later model GMs. I don't know why that is, but I've read that on a few other sites that re-gearing does disable cruise control. Don't know why, but yeah, you gotta pay to play. And if you don't re-gear, you could have some issues with the transmission, like with the teeth grinding, things like that. And as I mentioned in the video, the torque converter. But yeah, re-gearing is probably necessary with the 37s. I do believe that I'll be fine for a while, but at some point, if I do decide to keep this truck, or if I decide to want to sell it, it'd be good to have that done. That way the truck is pretty reliable. So yeah, these are some of the issues you'll have when you modify your car.